Three, two, one. Mark. Okay. So, describe your favorite and least favorite part of being a musician.
Oh man, that's a good question. Um, lately, my least favorite part about being a musician has been like just how intensely involved you can get into the scene as far as like, when you're playing shows as a musician, your main like focus is to get people to drink. You're just on stage to get people to buy drinks. And sometimes it kind of seems counterintuitive to me because it's just a lot of, for lack of a better word, debauchery that happens in the music scene. Like we're all just there to get drunk, and like there seems to be an element of like clout chasing. Like there's a couple different events in town that people go to not because they like the musicians that are playing, but because they know it's the spot to be or whatever. And so those type of things can tend to get a little bit aggravating over time because you see a lot of for lack of a better phrase here, like just fake people that are trying to pursue the people that are popular because they're popular and not because they actually support them or think that they're cool, but because maybe they think when this person gets famous or popular, I'll be part of their posse or whatever. And these type of elements of essentially people not being who they want to be or not embracing music for music's sake, just embracing it for popularity's sake, is probably my least favorite part about being in the music scene. Now, that being said, I feel like there's a lot of great things in music and being a musician. You meet a lot of great people, you hear a lot of great, wonderful stories. There's a lot of uplifting things out there from people that have come from bad places to working their way up to where they are now. And it's very inspiring to see people like change over time. And I feel like that's one of the best parts about being a musician and witnessing other people be musicians is watching them grow and change over time. And those two kind of go hand in hand, yin and yang.
Okay, so to interject, one should not drink unto debauchery. But we do know from a scientific standpoint that drinking releases inhibitions.
That's true.
It allows us to be closer to both our normal mental self
Mm-hmm.
and also our more instinctive base self.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. I don't dislike people drinking. I drink. It's not anything against drinking. It's the it's when you're leaving the bar at like 2 or 3 a.m. and everyone's passing out on top of each other, throwing up, starting fights. Like that's nasty. But these are just things that happen. It's not anything that it's not even necessarily a bad thing. It's just over time, you're like, all right, I get it. Like, we're out getting drunk. Same old as last week, same as the week before.
So what you dislike about it is when people drink to the point where they lose a sense of self. Not enough to just relax or just to find, I guess, an even ground. It's whenever people get so drunk that they just become almost animalistic.
Right, and I feel like I've been there before too. So it's really more speaking about myself too in that sense where it's like I don't want to get to that point. I understand that sometimes people are in a place where they do want to be escaping their reality and so they drink. And that's totally fine. There's nothing bad about that inherently. I feel like it would be interesting to see or play a show where the focus isn't drinking, it's just listening to the music. And I've been a part of shows like that before, and I would like to see more of those. That would be really cool. It'd be cool to see the focus be taken away from alcohol and focused on like the music, or maybe there's cool vendors there or something. But by all means, drinking is not bad. It's just a part of life that happens.
Okay, so going when you spoke about venues, when certain venues were for clout chasing and certain venues were for uh, expressing yourself as a musician and
Mm-hmm.
people enjoying your music.
Mm-hmm.
Describe your favorite venue for performing.
My favorite venue for performing in Dallas is probably Deep Elm Art Company because over time, like I've gotten a very close connection with the people that work there. They're very, very great people. John LaRue, Carrie, and the rest of the team have worked really hard to create an environment where local artists and musicians feel at home. And I really, really appreciate that because um, there's a lot of venues that are just focused on business, and that's totally fine. That's what they are. They're a business. And Artco as well is a business, but they've been able to foster this community of really cool contributors to Deep Ellum as a culture. And that's why I really appreciate working and playing at Deep Ellum Art Company, because they offer opportunities to musicians that are trying to go somewhere and give back to the community in some creative way, whether it's just playing a show or showing up to a gallery or whatever it is. It's just a great community that they've created. So thank you, John, and thank you, Carrie, at Deep Ellum Art Company for doing everything they do. Really great venue. Please check them out if you're ever in Dallas.
Okay, so describe your worst performance versus your best performance, if there's such a thing.
Oh, man. My worst performance, I mean, over this, 16, 15 years of performing, there's been a lot of bad performances. But I feel like one that really sticks out to me is probably this time I was playing with this band. They're still active in Dallas. Their name's Children of Indigo. We were playing a show at this, I guess it was like a local award show. And it was the first year that they were doing this award show. It was at the Latino Cultural Center in Dallas. And I'm not sure what happened. There was some sort of technical difficulty, but our bass amp just wasn't working. No matter what we did, it wasn't working. So I just distinctly remember me and the guitarist having to play our songs with no bass while our singer kind of jumped around and sang his parts, and it sounded so empty and just weird and just hollow. It was pretty bad. It was a pretty bad performance. It wasn't really anything on our specific. It was nothing really on our control. These sort of things just kind of happen. I'm sure if I think harder, there's another worse performance out there, but that one really sticks in my mind as one where I was wow. There was a small little crowd at the beginning of it. They all left by the time we even got through the second song. Everyone got up and left. It was really sad. But probably one of the best performances, dude, I'm going to say the one that I played just this past Saturday. My band, Daydream Sleep Shaker, I play guitar in it and sing. We got a really big crowd out to this venue, this really, really nice venue in Dallas called Sundown at Granada. And we got a good amount of people out. We were all very, very happy with the outcome of it. And we got to play a really, really cool funky set. We saw some people dancing. There was an old couple dancing. It just really made my whole week because I saw so many friends from a lot of different walks of life coming to see that show. And it just went really well, man. And I feel like I'll always feel like I can do better after a show. So that's always just, we're our own worst critics, So every show I play, I'm wow, that was I could be better, So there's always something that I'm chasing to be better as a musician. So I'll never really feel like I'll play my best show because I'll always want more, It's just kind of it happens.
All right. Give me just a second. Ooh, okay. So, switching lanes.
Dope.
Is there another musician you've mentored or trained, and describe what you've done to help them?
Another musician I've mentored or trained. There's definitely people I feel like I've come into contact during my time as a musician that I've influenced or helped, for lack of a better phrase here, start their career or push them in a certain direction. There's no one in my mind that I feel like I've worked with that didn't have the tools inside of them to do and become who they are without me. But I was honored to be a part of their journey at the beginning and help them realize their potential. I think it's never been me that's pushed someone to become who they are. It's maybe my influence as a person or as a musician that's helped them have confidence in themselves. There's no one specifically that I feel like at this time I'm comfortable with saying their name at this moment for something like this. But I do feel like everyone that I've worked with has touched me or like changed me as a musician over time, and vice versa. Everyone I've worked with, I feel like I've changed them a little bit as a musician over time. No doubt.